Hi guys, we're in the CHR. Finally! Yes, the engine is eager to rev, but there is not a whole lot of soundproofing going on. Okay, Beng, what's the horsepower?
171 of Newton meters of torque.
171 Newton meters of torque.
Yeah.
Okay.
And power of 140 PS.
140 horsepower.
Yes.
Okay.
140 horsepower.
Yeah. That means but the sound is quite there.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. Okay.
But maybe that's what they want you to hear. Because it's a sporty.
It doesn't drive like a SUV. It doesn't drive like a SUV. Blunted.
Really?
Blunted. Soundproofing, I would say it's only decent. It totally feels like a C segment car. If not, in terms of soundproofing, I would say it's just BC. Anyway, I have to check the tires. I don't hear wind noise here. I don't hear any wind noise. So the aerodynamics wise, I think the side mirror and all that is okay. But there is a lot coming from underneath, right? Quite a bit. But I want to have to check the tires. Okay? But so far, looking at it from the outside, handsome or you don't like?
I don't like it.
You don't like? It's a bit over.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice design. And we have a HRV owner behind. She's hiding because she just had a very good lunch. Yeah. I think this sensation is something that, because nowadays, right, we have so many friends who drive turbocharged cars. Everywhere there are turbocharged cars, right?
Yeah.
So,
but this
kind of expected this car to...
sorry, go on.
Sorry. The Muffin. It's a car that can go fast. Make no mistake. It takes a little while to pick up. But apart from the noise, I think I'm satisfied with how it drives.
I actually kind of enjoy the noise.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not annoying. It's like,
but it's not the best either.
Yeah.
It's not the best either. You kind of hear like, you thought towards the end it's gonna sound like, no, it doesn't. So I think to balance this out, you buy this car, you change the exhaust, give it a little bit of bass there. So at least, at the very least,
that's something
that complements this revving sound, then it's okay. But not bad, the drive, really not bad. But it's not those where you go up and then you feel like, wow, this is a magical suspension. No, like those BMW suspension. No, this is not magical. And another thing that's unfair to it, the last car we drove is the X3, right?
Yeah.
That one quiet and far.
Last car we drove is the...
Oh, maybe, the road was maybe. That's how the Brits call it. Maybe. Visibility, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, especially the rear view. But I suspect it's mainly because this thing was sort of shaped to reflect what the rear can only show. And even if I try to look at the C-pillar, you know, to see whether it blocks my view, I'm given the perception that it wasn't being blocked, because when I shift my head here, all I'm seeing is Beng's headrest. The whole thing is very high up, so that normally when we want to see further, when we do that, we will feel that then it will expose itself that, wow, the entire C-pillar is blocking my view. But when I do that, I'm looking at your forehead and then your headrest. So I was given the false perception that it wasn't blocked by the C-pillar, but actually, in fact, the whole C-pillar is being nicely hidden behind Beng's headrest from this vantage point. Clever! Clever! Like how Volkswagen do their diesels. Clever. But from here, looking down, I can see the curbs there in between the side mirrors are mounted on the... It's not on the doors. On the doors are inclusive of the base of the A-pillar. Yeah, it's mounted on the doors. There's a little window there, so I can see really well. And the side mirrors are slightly elongated, so okay lah. Visibility is okay. Sitting position is fine. It's rather comfortable. Apart from, you see, the thing is whenever we saw a Japanese car with flamboyant design,
Yep.
this kind of design belongs to Lexus. Then we expect the inside to be really high quality.
Yep.
But inside is Toyota. It's high quality, but Toyota levels of high quality, not Lexus. Not Mazda. Not Mazda's level. Not Mazda's level. But there are a lot of little diamond patterns going on. And yeah. Later you should have a drive. Okay. I think it's okay. And for this price, 140k, for the equipment that it gives is quite stingy.
Yeah, I think you're paying more for the design actually.
The design.
Yeah. The design.
And like what we said this morning, right? For those who wanted to live a lifestyle like those Evoque owners, right?
Yeah.
Right? They're young, they're sexy women. They look at that lady in the Evoque, but Evoque is freaking 350, 380,000. Yeah, CHR, right? Still stylish, and it's when you park next to a Evoque, brand-wise you lose out lah. But
Yep.
I don't think the look and feel.
Yeah,
I don't think
actually
it lose
this
out.
would be more eye-catching than the Evoque.
Yeah. For now lah,
Yeah,
because
for
Evoque
now
has
lah.
been around for quite some time. For those of you who bought the HRV, I don't think you have too much of maybe some of you will be like, "Ayya, I bought it 6 months too early." But practicality wise, right, there's no challenge, zero challenge in terms of practicality. HRV is 500,000 million times more practical when it comes to sitting, viewing, fetching things, actually using it as a daily car. I think the HRV is.
Yes.
In fact, I think on slow speeds the HRV is more nimble. HRV is very nimble. This one, the throttle response isn't as immediate as the HRV. Other than that,
First impression when you got into the car?
my eyes got caught to this guy here. This guy. You guys cannot see it now. It looks like those standing screen like BMW and Audi and Mercedes and all that. But actually, it is a 2-din player. Oh, you wanna take them out? Okay. Okay. See, from here, you see it's like a standing screen. But you see this? This is the 2-din. And then you look at it on the side. The 2-din actually slots inside. Very clever. Pandai. So actually it's like a normal dashboard, just that they molded this plastic, this thing on top, and they make it look like a standing screen. Pandai. I'm a bit worried about this material because from pictures this material is a bit reflective. From pictures it looked like those satin chrome surfaces, but on the touch, right, it feels like what, for those of you who have the BMW F30, your door handle, the one that melted after 5-6 years, getting sticky one, this feels like that material. It's a little bit rubbery. So it's my first time touching this material in a Japanese car actually.
Okay.
First time. I've never seen this being used in a Japanese car, so I do not know whether it's the same one. But given that this is Toyota, the brand itself, I have 5,000 million times of confidence, honestly. You hear people saying that, oh, my Honda suspension, clack, 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 things like that. But you never hear that from Toyota.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
That alone, the brand alone, the logo alone is we have that trust, basically. So even though decent car to drive. But for nowadays, for 140,000, you can buy a base CX-5, right, with quite a number of features. Peugeot 3008, but none of them are as lifestyle-y as this car.
Vote for Bobby Ang.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah. Lifestyle. And one thing, the seats are quite big. You notice or not? These seats are huge.
Are you complaining about the seats? If not, that means okay.
No, I'm not complaining. Because normally when I sit, a lot of car seats, right? I sit on it, right?
It feels very,
yeah, it feels like, do you want me to cover the middle part or the left or the right? This one is like, both of my shoulder blades are like, something's touching me, you know? Like that. So that's alright. Hi guys, so I'm in the HRV. Now, to be really honest, there is a big difference between the HRV and the CHR. First off, the HRV is definitely quieter. It is quieter than the CHR when it comes to either revving the car or just driving it from a day-to-day basis. First off. Secondly, the way the engine responds when you step on the throttle, the car gives you the response, and then the sound that the car makes, the HRV is actually slightly more refined. It is. Now, the other things that are not so measurable, that you have to drive both and have a keen sense of, you know, how you... I think maybe for us, we tested more cars than you guys, so we have that. Maybe we have that sense, not maybe we definitely have that sense. A bit more engaging to drive at slow speeds. Okay, even at high speed, when you are at going 80, 90, 100 on a sweeping bend, right? Both cars are not that far apart. Honestly speaking, they are not that far apart. But I kind of felt that the HRV, the CHR, has a more sporty setup, has a slightly more sporty setup in the way of how you sit in the car. The sitting position of the CHR is definitely better than the HRV. It is better. The HRV, right, for me to have a good leg reach, my hands are almost straight on the steering wheel. It's more for day-to-day usage, not so much for a sporty handling. Even the HRV's steering wheel got a little bit of angle to it, sort of like driving a that's gone. But the CHR is more sporty. The way you sit, the way the suspension setup was made. But that's one thing that a lot of Malaysian car owners take notice, which is soundproofing. Now, a lot of you like to burn Mazda CX-5, the first gen Mazda CX-5, for being noisy. I can tell you, the CHR isn't that far away. Really isn't that far away. So you definitely hear the noise, but the good thing is that the engine, even though when you're stressing it, is not exactly a horrible note. Okay, and it's eager to rev. It's more eager to rev than the HRV's engine. So my conclusion, putting aside interior room, right? Interior room and all that, later we'll do the walk around video and all that. That one is clear cut But in terms of the drive, HRV actually surprises a lot of people. It is very nimble in the way it handles. But ultimately, when you sit behind the wheel, the steering of the CHR is better to grip. The interior design is prettier. The sitting position is better. And overall, that car makes you feel more special because of its exterior design, interior design and all that. But this guy here is way more practical. The HRV is is more spacious, it has more room, visibility is excellent, usability is easy, everything is within reach. There's a lot of cubby spaces, soft touch materials are everywhere, even though they don't look as pretty as that one over there. Yes, this one has a dashboard that is of hard plastic, but that car also has a lot of, I wouldn't call this low quality hard plastics, these are rather good quality high plastics. Anyway, I will go through that in the walk around video, okay? But so far, price point and what you get, I think this guy has an upper hand, but design wise, that one is a very attractive car. In terms of high-speed stability, both of them has it, no issues. In terms of high-speed cornering, this guy does it really well as well, but that one seems to be a little bit more sporty in the way it's set up, the chassis and all that. Steering wheel, driving position, I prefer that way more. Even the seats, that seat is one full grade more upmarket than this seats. It's more comfortable as well. The contour of the seat is better as well. So I would say this is still rather Asian, that is rather European. Okay, yeah, that's how these two cars differ when it comes to driving. But if you're traveling on the highway, this is more quiet than that one. I was surprised. Drivetrain, both are similar. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Both of them doesn't have paddle shifters. Electronic handbrakes, they both have it. Reverse camera, that one is higher res than this, even though both are low res. So yeah, alright, let's go do the walk around video. So we got the CHR, but we did not get the HRV. But Fan drives an HRV, so she's being really kind to lend us her car. Yeah, that's Con. And Beng is over there. Huh?
Oh yeah, you're recording.
Oh yeah, you want to drive now? I record this first?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. Now, both 1.8, both front wheel drive, both 140-ish horsepower, both 170-ish Newton meters of torque. They couldn't be more similar. Hey, got the keys to the HRV? The keys to the HRV? Inside, okay. Allow me to... I mean, of course, Con wants to drive this car, but I'm sure you all already are very, very familiar with the exterior design language of the HRV already. You know, these two cars are like almost they share the same ideology. They want to be very, very stylish, practical, functional, everyday car owner, sort of family car crossover, alright? But they cannot afford to lose style because their target market is the C segment consumers. Look at that. Let's be stylish. Hidden door handles. Look at it. Hidden door handles. Both of them have very evocative styling. Look at this, the swirling lines of the HRV. The HRV actually, right, to me, right, is a bit more impressive. Why? Because from exterior it looks very daring, but actually it's sort of skin deep only because they did not affect any of its everyday usability or functionality. Okay, LED daytime running lights, very aggressive styling. Yes, the CHR is way more aggressive than the HRV, but don't forget when the HRV first came out, everybody was wowed by its styling. It's rather unconventional styling, which now has become so ubiquitous because so many people bought the HRV. Just now we drove the HRV in and Beng was in the CHR. She didn't even notice us, she just drives straight past. That's how many HRVs are out there that you would have just missed the car. Sorry, I noticed the engine of this car is running. I should switch it off. Yep. Beng, the keys with you? No? Inside. Okay. Yep. Now let's have a recap on the HRV interior, okay? I've done this car before, but this round, because of the CHR, I'm going to do this again. Look at the interior. Alright? What makes it unique is only this. other than this, if you cover this too, it's a very conventional dashboard design. So Honda is being very, very smart here. They're being very strategic in how they make this car look unique, you know. So let's start the car. Okay, the red start button is here. You get a touchscreen, air conditioning system. Not very usability wise, it's not that user friendly, but it gives you the impression that it's high tech. Okay, dashboard, the cluster is very clear, very concise, very good. Steering position. Now, this car's sitting position, I do not like the sitting position of this car as much as I do with as opposed to the CHR one. When I was just driving this, I felt, it's alright. But after driving the CHR, that sitting position, the steering wheel of that car, everything that involves enthusiastic driving, that car actually is better. It even has a better seat. This seat is rather conventional. I would say that seat is even one grade higher than this one in terms of how it's contour and all that. That one is more supportive. But other than that, when it comes to... Sorry, gotta turn you guys around and hope my GoPro listens to me. When it comes to internal cubby spaces and storage, right, the HRV is way more practical. And when it comes to dashboard design, that guy is, the CHR again, is more flamboyant. This guy, look at this guy. They have a soft touch material here, hard plastic here, leather here, okay? But what's the problem? They put all of them in the same color. So the whole thing looks like a big swath of plastic. But in fact, soft touch is here, hard plastics are here, leather is over there. There is a lot of missed opportunities in this cabin, I would say. Okay, come to the rear. The rear of the HRV is huge compared to the CHR, if not conventional again. Okay, here you have a lot of leg room. Look at that, you have tons of leg room. Let me turn you around again. Okay, you have pretty good headroom. Headroom is pretty good. Leg room is pretty good. Everything is good. It's functional. It's comfortable. And visibility is great as well. But the seats, let me show you the seats. Please turn, please turn, please turn. Look at the seats. I can only slot my feet underneath. Whereas in the CHR, I can straighten my legs, bury them deep into underneath the front seats. I'm going to show you in a while. But other than that, the rear here is pretty similar. Okay? But of course, the seats of the HRV can do some more magical folding, which I'm going to explore later in the CHR. Okay, these seats, when you fold down the backrest, it's not just the backrest coming down. This guy here would descend down as well to give you a really flat loading floor and to give you a really, really huge boot space. Look at the boot of the HRV. It is huge. There is no challenge at all for the CHR. Okay, this is some really, I would say, practical solution, but not the most elegant solution. But nevertheless, you can definitely fit way more things inside this car than the CHR. Now, very quick, Con, you're okay to go.
Thank you.
Done. Let's come into the, okay, I'm going to move to the driver's seat, all right? The keys are in the car.
Okay.
Yep. First off, from here, as I move you guys in, you see, it's way more upmarket, right? The cabin feels way more special. Close the doors, start the car. Okay, now look at this cabin. Beautifully designed. It's way prettier than the HRV ones. And imagine this. Imagine this. This is pattern. You see this pattern, right? I can actually feel it. Okay, so it's actually some 3D patterns going on there. Imagine that pattern is the same color as this. Imagine this little strip here is the same color as that. Imagine this gloss black plastic is the same color as that. And imagine this really soft squidgy material is the same color as that. Then it will make the entire cabin really, really dull. That's why Toyota did a damn good job here because I really like the combination that is going on in this interior. Look at this really squidgy soft touch plastic. Even when they mold this plastic, they put this line here, stitching lines, so it looks like a proper leather wrap dashboard, where in fact it's one squidgy piece of plastic. Really lovely. And this one also, there are a lot of clever designs going on. Look at this. This looks like those European car kind of tablet kind of infotainment system, right? But if you look deeper, see from the sides, look at this casing here. Okay? And look at this, the edge of this. What this means is this is a standard 2-DIN player. You can slot the entire thing out and slot it back in. Toyota merely did this housing that encapsulates it to make it look like it's a freestanding tablet kind of screen. No problems, because visual wise, this is a very modern execution, a very elegant execution. Now this one got me worried a bit, because this one from pictures it looks like those painted plastic or satin chrome kind of reflective. It mimics aluminium or something like that, but in real life when you touch it, it feels rubbery. So this sensation is exactly the same as the material that BMW puts into their door handles in the F30, and that one under our climate, they melt and they got sticky. But granted, I have the confidence of this logo. What this logo means is, I would assume this thing will not go sticky. Your suspension arms will not make noise, unlike that brand. After a few years, I mean, we all know that, right? Honda's suspensions, after a few years, they tend to make sound. Be it an Accord or a Civic or whatever, they do that. But Toyotas, they are long lasting. Everything is just long lasting. Another touch that I quite appreciate, look at this. This, we first saw it in the Audi A4, and then now in the Peugeot 3008, and it seems it's also in some Mercedes as well. So this kind of toggle kind of switch gives you the sensation that you have a physical and digital interaction going on, which is pretty nice. All right, and they feel upmarket. Of course, this doesn't feel anywhere near to the ones fitted in the Audis. Okay, these are different segment cars, nevertheless. This is a filet o fish. Sorry. Look at the seats. The perforated patterns are diamond patterns as well, and this seat is way higher grade than the one fitted to the HRV. Okay, these seats are really comfortable, very supportive, and the this part here, the support is really great. It also holds you to the car, and it gives you the overall sporty sensation. Look up here, look at this indentation. They serve no purpose, but they look special. They make the car look special. Look at this diamond pattern as well. Look up here, look at that. All these make the car look really special, and that diamond pattern is again repeated over here, and over the door panels on the driver's side as well. Now this steering wheel, you might not be able to see that clearly. Let me shift my seats to the back. This steering wheel is way better to hold than the one in the HRV. I love how the mix of materials are going on here. The buttons are alright in terms of pressing them. They are clear and concise, but in terms of pressing, it's just alright. But in this segment, there's no complaint. This segment is about complaining whether they have or have not, and not whether the buttons are good or bad. The bottom half is gloss black. You know, here is somewhat, it doesn't look round shape. It looks somewhat flat bottom-y, but when I run my fingers around, it feels like a round steering wheel. But the diameter of the steering wheel, the girth of it, the leather wrap of it, it makes this steering wheel feels way better to hold. Even the angle of the steering wheel, the HRV steering wheel angle is a bit like that, so it's a bit like driving a lorry or a bus, but this one is more passenger sedan-like. And the other thing is the armrest and the seating position. This guy, right, gives me a proper armrest position where I can comfortably hold the steering wheel, sit here, sink in the seats, and then put my arms here. And this is not leather wrap, but this material, I think it's leather. Feels good, okay? And there's a counterweight there, so this thing is very light, so it doesn't slam shut. Now, the complaints with the front compartment. You can call it complaint, or you can call it a rare sight of stubbornness in Toyota, which basically in Japanese car makers, this very, very often happen. Look at this whole thing. They give up absolute usability for design. A first time, man, for Japanese car makers, because this doesn't happen very, very often. Look at this entire gloss black material, and what is surprising is that they have some sort of coating there that makes it less attractive to dust as the normal gloss black materials going on in cars like a Mercedes C-Class and all that. So you have the handbrake lever here, the electronic handbrake lever, traction control button, the auto hold function there, and this gear knob. This looks straight out of Peugeot, whatever Peugeot, you know, a very nice metallic gear lever that is short and stubby, and it feels so good to just touch it like that. And then when you are in drive, move it here for manual control, up and down, and that's about it, because you don't get pedal shifters. Okay, so that's the front cabin. Everything seems pretty alright, and I'm glad that now they removed that nonsense that happened last time. Last time, when you're driving, as long as your car is moving, you literally can't do anything with this. But now it's all available. Okay, and then you get a blind spot warning and a lot of omitted features. No choice. Malaysia is a price-sensitive market. There's cruise control as well. Okay, let's come to even here. Look at that. So the only thing powered on this seat is the lumbar. Pretty awkward. I've never seen cars like that. Now the rear door openings are pretty small, so if you're putting a child seat and all that, it's pretty tight in here. And I need to shift the seats back to the front because just now I went all the way back. Okay. Now this car is by no means comparable to the HRV, but there is a but, okay? First of all, it feels darker inside here because of the very small window openings. Okay, if you look at this side as well, the window openings are tiny. You might say, I mean, from a car review perspective, hey, that is claustrophobic. But I tell you what, just not all of us who sat behind, right? When we rest our head here, and then when we close our door, it becomes like a very cocoon, very isolated space you have to yourself. But one thing lacks, or a missed opportunity, is this. Now look at this part, it's all blocked up, right? Let me turn you guys back. Okay, you look at this part. This is the giant C-pillar of the CHR that forms the design identity of this car. And no, you got no choice but to give up in terms of practicality, because this part they need to swerve the window up to put the door mechanism, and that means you have a gigantic C-pillar. It's almost 2 feet wide. From the top is 1.5 feet. From the bottom, I think it's almost 3 feet. 3 feet across. Okay. Now, if Toyota, all right, were to have a piece of soft cushion over here and here, okay, that's the airbag. So no, that's out. Here, if you have a soft piece of cushion over here, that means you turn your weakness. That means you actually turn your weakness into a selling point to rest your head against here on long journeys. Fantastic if they were to have thought of that, or they would have consulted me earlier. That would be brilliant. Down here, the speaker grills are specially designed as well. Oh, this one I want to show you guys just now. Look at both my feet. Just now in the HRV, I can only slot my feet underneath the front seats, but in the CHR, I'm able to almost straighten my feet all the way into the bottom, the base of the front seats. So what that means is, even though this one has less leg room, but in terms of sitting position and ergonomics, it's totally comparable to the HRV. That surprises us. Now, boot space. Again, let me show you this part first. look at where the roofline ended, and they choose to slant the entire rear glass down here. Again, for what? For design. They pursue design. On this car, tail lamps that encapsulate up here, 3-dimensional. Again, this is giving up practicality for design. Something very, very European, but Toyota does it. Now, the boot space is not comparable at all. This is almost half the size of that boot space. There is just no challenge. But is it usable? It is. But is it deep enough to go KIA and pick up a friend that's returning from Australia after a 1-year study? No. You cannot do that with this car. It's impossible because there is a space saver tire in here. So if you thought you bought a CHR and you're happy, 4 of you go to KIA and pick up your friend, he just came back after 1 year of studies in Australia, he'll be in for a surprise because this car will not be able to fit his luggage. Even if you remove the parcel shelf, don't forget you have a very slanted rear windscreen. Alright, so that's the walk around of these two cars. What do I think? Design wise, this guy. Ride comfort, soundproofing, the HRV. Performance, similar. Drivability, sporty handling, very, very similar. This one has an edge because of the sitting position. And in terms of interior packaging, practicality, day-to-day usage, the HRV actually is more practical. But which one makes you feel special? Which one makes you feel spending 140,000 felt like spending 180,000? This guy actually. Yes, specs wise, it lost out. But it's the overall feel that makes you feel you bought a car that is more special than the price that you paid for. I mean, when you put a HRV, if you're a HRV owner, you park your car next to a Range Rover Evoque, you definitely felt like you lose out, right? In a lot of manner, except reliability. But when you drive a CHR, you can happily park your CHR next to a CRZ, right? Next to a Veloster, next to an FJ Cruiser, next to a Range Rover Evoque. These are cars that are special and they compromise practicality for something, in pursuit of something. And that something is design, and that something is self-satisfaction and gratification. So yeah, this is more expensive than this, but this is way more practical, more comfortable in terms of driving, soundproofing and all that. But overall, interior build quality, this is better and surprises us when it comes to the seating and all that. But both cars, is there a bad choice? Nah. But Fan, who bought the HRV, she really loved the CHR now. After looking at this design and its interior, she really loved it. She don't mind giving up the boot space, you know, paying more for it. She don't mind that at all because this car looks stunning. Yeah, that's the walk around video. Cheers.